right. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I am Johan. That is Charleston. Joining us today, I call him the most interesting man in the world. Joining us from Calgary, Alberta, Mr. Theo Fleury. Theron, how are you doing today?
I call him
I'm great. How are you? How are you guys?
Phenomenon, a legend. I don't even know what else to call you. Badass. I wore this shirt for you.
Yeah, there you go.
I think you could have been a part of the Detroit bad boy team, but yeah, man.
I could have, yes.
So how you been?
Things are good. Yeah, things are good. Okay, well, considering where we're at, with COVID and stuff, I've managed to stay relatively busy, which has been okay. So,
what are you following a lot of the hockey these days, Theo? Are you following, how the NHL played out last year with the COVID situation? What's your thoughts on that? How could you have survived and played in that environment with the bubble and in that environment?
Yeah, it would have been interesting for sure. I'm sure it was extremely challenging to. Sort of be locked up or whatever. But, when we were playing in the NHL, it was, airports, hotels, arenas, and, the odd bar. It was kind of,
Sounds like the life of a CFL player.
That was kind of our life. So I don't think it would have been, any different. So, but it was great that they got to award the Stanley Cup, and they did a great job of keeping everybody healthy. And, it was great hockey. It was fun to watch for sure.
Nice. Let's start off with, I want to get into a little bit about how you started off with your, I read about it. We've talked about it before. You were 5 foot fuck all, 120 pounds, soaking wet, going against grown men. How the hell did you survive back in the day?
Well, I think that, my talent and my skill level was, in the upper echelons of, guys that played the game. And the game was very easy for me, because of my skill and my talent. And what really set me apart was, how I played the game. I played at a very high level. I competed at a very high level. I hated to lose. And I quickly knew which guys to sort of stay away from, on the ice, But, the hockey stick was the great equalizer, especially back in, the day that I played. You could get away with a lot more stuff than you can now. There wasn't 50 cameras, following you around the ice when we were playing. Yeah. There was only one referee as well, and I would say the majority of them were blind. So, so
they still are. They still are from what I've seen.
Exactly. But you could get away with a lot more, and it was, it was a brutal, violent game. Back in the day when I played, we were out there trying to hurt each other, like on purpose, and so. Especially, in the Edmonton, Calgary days, those games were, wow, they were brutal. They were brutal. But they were the funnest games to play in because they were the highest levels of competition, right? Both teams were great teams, and, we hated each other. We wanted to beat each other. And, that's what makes for a great rivalry is when teams have that, sort of, ingrained hate for each other and
rip each other's face off.
Exactly.
Okay, so with that,
well, yeah, those games when you're sitting in the dressing room, you're not putting on your hockey equipment, you're putting on a suit of armor and you're going to war.
With that, did you ever take any maybe extra jabs at Gretzky or Messier or Curry or any of those guys back in the Edmonton days to be able to get them off their game? Or was there any guys that you ever, when you're out there on the ice, you'd go, oh, man, I can give it to this guy because I know he's going to lose it by the third period? Or what was your strategy, especially playing the Oilers? Here in the Prairies,
Right.
I don't know about you, Charleston, when you were growing up in Michigan, but here in the Prairies, it was the rivalry was the Flames and the Oilers. And to watch you guys back in the day was unbelievable. Did you ever give it to, or did you ever know which guys to be able to kind of get under their skin, or guys that you knew they were going to try and get under your skin?
Well, I think the greatest compliment you can be paid as an athlete is I hated to play against you, right? And now that I've been retired for, a long time, I've run into the Ari Currys, the Wayne Gretzkys, and all those guys. And that's the first thing they say to me. I fucking hated playing against you. As an athlete and as an elite athlete, that's, you can't be easy to play against. If you're easy to play against, then you're never going to get noticed. You're not going to have the success that you want to have. And so, I had a run in with probably every single guy in the Edmonton Oilers because that's the style of game that I played. And, you need to have an impact in the game. Every shift you're on the ice. And so, and being a guy who is highly competitive, you're going to get into altercations with people because you're going to piss them off, because if you're hard to play against, they don't want to fucking play against you, right?
Yeah, you got to expect that kind of energy though. Like when you bring that kind of energy to the ice, then you got to know I'm going to get some kind of feedback. People are going to start coming at me, but then you just got to be able to shake them off and keep it going.
It's like you, Charleston. I've watched you play. I would say that every fucking quarterback in the CFL, when they look across the line and they know you're there, like they're shitting their pants because they know you're coming.
And I talk a lot of trash on.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hey, that brings me to the point because you said the hockey stick is kind of a weapon in this, like you're putting on your armor, and that makes me think about when I watched the documentary you have. Shout out to the guy who produced that whole show. That's an excellent show. Make sure you go out and watch it. It's called Playing with Fire. It was a great show, but what made me notice something is that you went throughout an hour and 40 minute show documentary. You went through about 8-9 hockey sticks through the whole show, and I just saw them just breaking left and right. So that made me think, I wonder how many hockey sticks did you go through in a season? Like, what's the most you broke in a season?
Jeez, I don't even know, right? when hockey sticks are free, and you're not paying for them, right? You can. Yeah. You can go through quite a bit. I have a funny hockey card. We're playing in Tampa Bay, and the shot is of me slashing a guy, and my stick is actually broken in the hockey card.
I gotta find that. That's awesome.
All I can do is just keep laughing while watching the documentary. Cause boom, that's one broke. Boom, that's another. Boom, boom.
I love the way that Charleston won't remember everything else about the documentary, but will remember how many broken hockey sticks Theo went through.
Give me another damn stick.
I wanted to touch base, Theo, a little bit about one of the most recognized moments in World Junior Hockey. We were talking about it before. Charleston's first time here on the prairies, he got to experience World Juniors for the first time. He got a lot of people angry here in Regina when he was shouting USA, USA at the Canadian Brew House here in Juniors and doing that. We showed him a clip of the World Juniors in '87 when you were part of that brawl. Tell us a little bit about explain to Charleston about that. About what that was like, because what did you think about that, Charleston, when you were watching it?
I mean, when the lights shut off like that while you're playing, I mean, it's fair game at that point. You got you got to think it's open season.
What the fuck happened? How did that end? And what was your thoughts during when you're going through that? Who are you fighting against? You remember? And
I think it was Valerie Zelapukin who was ended up playing for the New Jersey Devils for quite a while. But the World Junior Tournament is the greatest hockey tournament on the planet. And I played in two World Juniors, and it's still my favorite championship that I ever won. It's still my favorite. Oh yeah, because it's the greatest hockey tournament ever. Yeah. And what was interesting about this whole brawl thing was back at home, playing in the Western League, every night there was either a line brawl or a bench clearing brawl in junior, right?
So you're used to it.
Yeah. So anyways, we brawl the Russians, and we're sitting in the dressing room waiting to go back out on the ice for, to finish the game. And Dennis McDonald, who was the president of the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association before it became Hockey Canada, he came into the dressing room and he said, boys, pack up your gear. We've been disqualified. We've been kicked out of the tournament. And so basically, we got undressed and but what was wild was they brought in the Czechoslovakian army like almost immediately. So as we were walking out of the dressing room to get on the bus, they had guards that were staggered in the hallway, like army guys with fucking machine guns standing in the hallway.
Really?
So we get outside the arena, and they got a fucking army tank parked in between the two buses, the Russian bus and our bus, and then and so we drove from Czechoslovakia to Austria to Vienna to get on the plane and fly back to Canada. So we slept on our hockey bags in the airport in Vienna. Then we fly back to Canada. We get off the plane, and there had to be 1,000 reporters waiting for us as we got off the plane to explain this whole entire brawl. But what was really cool is what happened the next year. We went back to Moscow. The tournament was in Russia. And we beat the Russians in the same rink that Paul Henderson scored the goal in 1972. Yeah. And the Russians had a line of Fedorov, McGillney, and Bure was their number one line, and we beat them. So, so it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And I was a captain. I was a captain of Canada's national junior team. So it was. It was unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
And the guys you played with, and I remember watching. All those games. I remember watching it as a kid, and the old TV would bring into the room and get up early at 4 a.m. here in Canada. Yeah, and that's exactly. A tradition, right? You'd do that as a kid and watch it. Charleston it's part of Canadian heritage if you're a hockey player, right? And be able to do that.
It is.
Yeah, I want to ask you about another great Canadian moment: the Olympics. 2002, Salt Lake City. How fun was that to be a part of the Olympic team, the Olympic Village, all that stuff, and be able to go out and win the gold medal? What was that experience like?
Yeah, well, I think that 98 was, a huge disappointment for us. We were the first dream team, in Canadian hockey to go over there. And so the expectations were really high. And unfortunately, we lost in a fucking individual skills competition to the fucking Czechs, But what was really interesting is we learned a lot from that experience. And so when we got to Salt Lake City, Wayne Gretz was running the team, and so it was a different vibe. It was a different feel, and I'll just put this into perspective for you. So I played on the fourth line on that team with Brendan Shanahan and Joe Newendike. Yeah. So 1,500 goals, 3,000 points, you name it. And, that was our fourth line.
Yeah.
So, and I remember just walking in the dressing room for the very first time and, just taking a look at the jerseys that were hanging on the, on the hangers, and, Mario, Stevie Y, Joe Sakic, Marty Brodeur, Chris Pronger, Adam Foote. Like, it was unbelievable, the amount of talent and the amount of skill that was on one team.
I was going to say, it's just an all-star team.
Oh, it was like, if there was a dressing room in heaven, all those guys would still be there,
Yeah.
And, but, it was 52 years to the day since we'd won an Olympic gold medal. And in Canada, we claim hockey as our, sport. It's like religion here. Hockey's like religion in Canada. And so, to have gone that long and not have won, a gold medal, was pretty amazing. And that whole entire experience was, from top to bottom, one of the greatest experiences, of my life. And then for us to win and be a part of it. And, to be one of 23 guys in the last 52 years that has a gold medal at the Olympics in, in ice hockey, just kind of puts it into perspective as to how huge, that whole thing was.
Yeah. And what accomplishments, like a Stanley Cup winner, World Junior winner, Olympic medal junior winner. I mean, unbelievable. So, Theo, we want to see about Charleston has, we're trying to think about, Charleston has upcoming in the next 5 days. Charleston is going to become a free agent here in the CFL. Big news here in Ryderville, because fans, how are the fans been treating you, Charleston? Every day goes by, they're asking, are you going to sign yet? Are you going to do this?
You know what, Theo? This how I look at it. I've heard you say it, same thing in the documentary. I've heard you say it, either people are going to love you or they're going to fucking hate you. So it's like, I have that, for some reason, I have that same kind of persona, that same kind of bad boy, mean streak kind of persona to people. So people either love me or people freaking hate me. And it's just because I'm either on your team and destroying quarterbacks, or I'm not on your team and I'm kicking your quarterback's ass. But so it's like I get all kind of different feedback from people, from, oh man, you know what? It'll be happy. Go take care of you. Go do what's best for you and your family. And I got people like, hey man, if you lose, you're the enemy. I mean, if you go somewhere else, you're the enemy. We don't want you here and sad.
So do you have any advice from your career and your lifetime when you're in a free agent too? Any advice, because Charleston's his own agent also, and he's going into a fairly big contract where now with last year they weren't able to play. They do have a little bit of budget, but at some point Charleston's in kind of the latter part of his career.
What do you got from me? Because they're saying I'm 37 years old. I'm just an old crusty football player.
Yeah, look at Tom Brady. I always say his age
Brady.
I've
led the league in sacks for the last 4 years consecutive. So it's like. Wow.
What advice do you have for Mr. Hughes here going into free agency in the next week or so?
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, especially, when I was playing, the salary cap, wasn't around. Right. So, and basically, we got one chance at big money. And, I remember, I went to the Rangers, signed a 4-year, $28 million deal with the Rangers. And, it was like I friggin' won the lottery, so to speak. Right. But yeah, your resume is second to none. You know what you bring to the table. You know what you're worth. So I would fucking stand my ground and get as much as you can, because, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's actually my thoughts. 100%. Just stand your ground. try to get as much as you can. At my age, you don't know how many more years you got to play anyway, so you just got to do what's best for you.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And it's a business, right? And so in business, there are negotiations that happen, right? Yeah. And they're trying to get the best deal for their organization. You're trying to get the best deal for your organization, right? And so, the back and forth is going to happen and whatnot. So, I was lucky because, I was considered the number one free agent on the market the year that I became a free agent. So, the Rangers came at me with this huge deal, and I think they gave me like 6 hours to decide.
6 hours, really?
Holy, yeah.
That was it. Yeah. Because, they said if we can't get Theo, we need to go in another direction. And so, it was a very easy decision for me to make. And going to an original 6 team, the New York Rangers, Madison Square Garden, it was unreal.
Yeah, that's my favorite city. I love New York. Huge Yankee fan.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. There's no place I'd rather be in than New York City, especially when it's minus 40.
That just makes me think about something. And before we go on this small break, I got one question that I want you to think about, and you can answer it after we come back from the break. But have you accomplished everything that you wanted to in hockey? Like throughout making all that money, throughout going through all the things that you went through in life, like all the way through in your entire career, did you accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish? So when we come back from the break, and this quick message from the sponsor, we'll get back to it. Today's Better With Age webcast show is brought to you by Rob Peterson at Realty One.
All right, and we're back with the one and only Mr. Theo Fleury. Theo, Charleston asked you an interesting question about have you accomplished everything? Did you accomplish everything you needed to in hockey? And that's a great segue asking about, is the NHL Hall of Fame on your mind too? Because I think both of us agree you should be in there. But to answer to think about Charleston's questions, did you accomplish everything you wanted to in hockey?
Yeah, I think I accomplished everything and more. I wish I had $1 for every time somebody told me I was too small and I was never going to make it. And I think just the simple fact that, that I wasn't supposed to play one game in the National Hockey League, and then I actually played, 1,100 games and had as many points as games played. And then along the way, I just kept getting better and better. When I came into the NHL, I was a spark plug. I was, that kind, but I just kept getting better every year. I just kept getting better. And because of that, I got to play in 2 Olympics. I got to play in 2 World Juniors. I got to, do so many amazing things in hockey. And I got to be a part of some really incredible moments, in the game. And I honestly, I would have played for free because that's how much I love to play and I love to compete. And if you get better, the money takes care of itself as long as you're getting better every single year. And I really prided myself on being a complete player, because I realized early on in my career that I could be put in a box, right? But I didn't want to be inside that box. And so, I became a great penalty killer. I became a guy who's really good at face-offs. I was a guy that could play in the last minute of a game and all of these things. And so, every coach that I played for, they trusted me and they knew, because I competed at such a high level and I hated to lose, that when they put me on the ice, they knew that I was going to get the job done. And that's really what I prided myself more than anything else was, I wanted to be a complete hockey player. And so, my argument for the Hockey Hall of Fame is this. in the 90s, there was 4 best on best tournaments that they held. So 91 Canada Cup, 96 World Cup of Hockey, 98 Olympics, and the 2002 Olympics. And I was on all 4 of those teams. So for a decade, I was considered one of the 23 best hockey players in all of Canada. And so, you know, mic drop.
That speaks volumes for itself. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you know, I had an amazing career. It far exceeded my expectations. You know, I just wanted to make it. You know, there was 415 guys picked before me in the NHL draft.
Yeah.
And, you know, I sit 64th in all-time scoring in the history of the NHL. And so, you know, everything's there. But unfortunately, you know, I ran into some troubles and I ran into some issues towards the end of my hockey career, which I think, you know, I burned some bridges along the way. And, you know, I think that, you know, I just have to wait my time. You know, unfortunately, only 4 guys get in every year. And, you know, there's lots of guys that are very deserving of the honor of being picked to go into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And so, you know, I'm just waiting and biding my time.
Your time is coming, my man. Your time is coming.
Heck yeah, your time's coming. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Just because I feel like there's a player like that in every single sport. Because like Terrell Owens goes through the same thing right now. Everybody knows he's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, but because of who he is and you know how he ended his career and you know the bridges that he burned, you know when going out, they weigh it so heavily on your performance on the field, and it shouldn't have nothing to do with that. Like how you are or what happened shouldn't weigh on what you did on the ice or what you did on the field in the sport. You should be weighed on what you did in the sport.
Your time is coming. Don't worry, we got your back. So we wanted to see.
Well, and you know, I think I've accomplished more after the game than I actually did playing the game, and I made a mark on you know the human race. You know, I work in the field of you know, trauma, mental health, and addiction every day. And, you know, I've saved a lot of people's lives and I've given people hope and all those things. And so, you know, I absolutely love the place that I'm at today. And I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that, you know, I would have had a post career like, you know, the one that I've had. And, you know, mental illness is, I believe, you know, the biggest epidemic we have on the planet. It's bigger than COVID. And, you know, to be a voice for people who are struggling with mental challenges, you know, it's what gets me out of bed every day. And, you know, I'm looking for an opportunity to help somebody you know, get through whatever they need to get through.
So let's talk about that a bit for the final thing before you got to go here. Is it what are you doing now with that? How are you involved with that mental health, and what's on your agenda today with that?
Yeah. So you know, I'm a speaker. I'm an author. You know, I've done 800 speeches in the last 12 and a half years, and all in the space of trauma, mental health, and addiction. And so, you know, I work with the military. I work in the prison system. I work, you know, pretty much in every aspect of people who are affected by trauma, mental health, and addiction. And, you know, I've written a couple of best-selling books on the subject. And what's really interesting is, you know, I've gotten this really kind of hands-on education, because when I stepped into this space, all I had was my story. I didn't know anything about, you know, brain chemistry and any of that stuff. So I've really gotten an education because I've been able to hang around with some experts in the field and learn from them. And so 3.5 months ago, I was approached by a medical tech company that has a really cool app called MMS Mobile Wellness. And I'd heard about sound therapy, sound treatment. And within the first 3 days of using this app, because I still suffer with depression and anxiety and panic disorder, and you know, when I started to use the app, like I was like, what the hell is this? Because I started to feel better, and I was more motivated. I had more hope. All these things were changing in my body. And so when I read the science behind the app, like I was completely blown away at this technology that and then they offered me a job in the company. So I'm their chief relationship officer, and I help them build relationships with companies, with charities, with all these things. And so it's been an amazing 3 months working for this company, and everybody that I've given the app to. And you guys send me your email, because I'll set you up with a free subscription to the app so that you can try it out. It's been a lot of fun. The company's awesome. The people that are in the company are great, and I love building teams, right? And so this is an opportunity for me to be a part of a team. We have an amazing product, and we have basically we have 7 billion customers who need this technology. And so I'm excited about the future and where we're headed. And I've had some great conversations already with some really cool people. Like yesterday I spoke to the backup catcher from the Los Angeles Angels, who came through a contact of mine, and I sent them the app last night. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it changes his life.
Good for you. I can't think of. I mean, I'm blown away. I get motivated and excited talking to you, listening to you, Theo. It's unbelievable. I loved you as a hockey player because you were like the rest of us. I could relate to the short, the height
of course.
issue, the height and challenge, I guess. But what you've done for people, for telling the truth, coming out, everything you're doing now, it's unbelievable. So I just want to say on behalf of Charleston, myself, thank you very much. Thanks to our viewers. Go out and follow Mr. Fleury. Follow him on Twitter. He's got podcasts. He's got everything going. Go get some books.
Got everything. Make sure you drop all your platforms right now so everybody can go visit
Supporter, man. I wanted to show you, Theo. I got this one T-shirt from my father-in-law that I knew that you would enjoy. It's on the front. It's got the Make Trudeau a drama teacher again, so I thought that I would just do that because I know you're very politically tied in with there, and I think you're always looking out for the best interest of most of us Canadians. So thank you again. Charleston always finishes off the show with his words of wisdom, so I'll let Charleston finish it off.
No, man,
awesome.
That's awesome, man. I like everything you talked about is about your post-career and everything, and getting affiliated with the community and trying to help as many and touch as many lives as you can while you're on this earth, right? Because what point is that to go through everything you went through, to live at the highest moments and the lowest moments, and not tell your story and speak to somebody else about it, and kind of enlighten somebody else on how to approach it and how to pull yourself out of the abyss and become a better person in the end, right? Which is an excellent thing. And like I said, you've affected a lot of lives and you've helped a lot of people. But this is the Better with Age webcast, and the reason we call it the Better with Age webcast because there's many things that get better with age, not just your pretty face and that wonderful hat. So there's whiskey, there's wine, there's cigars, there's lots of things that get better with age. There's cheese, whatever you want to call it, the pleasures in life. But the one thing that we pride on that gets better with age is friendships. I've crossed paths with you multiple times before at events. I've heard your story and I think at poker tournaments before. So it's been awesome actually listening to you talk and hearing you speak, and to finally, get you on the podcast and actually get the chance to hear you speak. So thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. And if the GM of the Saskatchewan Roughriders is listening right now, you can never replace talent, heart, balls, all of that. sign this guy. Give him what he wants, because it's gonna come back twofold. So there's my plug for you, Charleston.
Ooh, I think you just padded the pockets.
There you go. We got Charleston's new agent
That's
there in
awesome.
Fleury. All right.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Fleury.
Thanks.
Take care. All the best.
All right, guys. Good luck with the podcast, and we'll chat soon.
You
Thanks.
betcha.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Okay, take care, guys, and good luck.
Thank you.
I'll be
You too.
watching.
Thank you.
I'll be watching you.